I'm Blossom.
And I'm Dwight.
And today we are going to be reviewing The Wolves of Willoughby Chase by
JOAN AIKENS.
But before we start, how are you guys doing this weekend? As for us, we're doing
Great!
yes, and we're having fun and doing
book reviews with you guys.
yes, as you know, we love book reviews and we're just doing them for you guys. So as we said, we are going to be reviewing The Wolves of Willoughby Chase by JOAN AIKENS. JOAN AIKENS was an English writer and author who wrote about supernatural fiction. She was born on the 4th of September 1924 and sadly died on the 4th of January 2004. But she was a very good author. She wrote adult books and children books. That's why I only said an author and not a children's author. So before we start, Divine, what do you think is going to happen in this book based on The Wolves of Willoughby Chase, the title and the picture?
So I think there's going to be like these people who are going to be like camping in, or there's going to be this school who's going to be camping in like forest or something.
Yeah.
And then there'll be like wolves and stuff. So yeah.
Okay, that's a very good thing. As I said, always you're inferring from the book. You are thinking ahead, thinking what's going to happen, and that's really good. So yes, you're kind of right about a forest. The wolves, do come from a forest, but let me read you guys the blurb so you have a little idea of what it is about. Can you go a little faster? Can you run? Long ago, at a time in history that never happened, England was overrun with wolves. But as Bonnie and her cousin Sylvia discover real danger often lies closer to home. Their new governess, Miss Slighcarp, doesn't seem at all nice. She shuts Bonnie in a cupboard, fires the faithful servants, and sends the cousins far away from Willoughby Chase to a place where they will never be found. Can Bonnie and Sylvia outwit the wicked Miss Slighcarp and her network of criminals, forgers, and snitches? Backstory: find out a few things you didn't know about the wolves and learn all about the wonderful world of the author. When I read the blurb, I was actually really excited, but I was like, a history that never happened with wolves. I really want to learn about these wolves, but to be honest, I was a bit disappointed. Not to say I don't like the book, but I was a bit disappointed with this book. The reason why I was disappointed was because, to be honest, there wasn't really any wolves in the book. So there wasn't really wolves. The only time there was wolves was in one page, and that's what I didn't like about the book. Like, if you're going to call the title The Wolves of Willoughby Chase, there has to be a lot of wolves. It's only in the backstory that there was about wolves, and it wasn't even too much about wolves. It's more about the author and if you're the characters or anything. Now, divide that you've seen the cover and you've read the blurb. Well, I've read the blurb to you. Now, what do you think is going to happen?
Now, I think that there's going to be this rude person who is going to be like the governor and who's going to be doing bad things to the girls.
Okay.
And when he said there's only one bit about the wolves, probably there's going to be like a campfire and they're going to be talking about their backstory, and that'll be cool.
So that's what you think's gonna happen?
Yeah.
Also, it's a governess for a lady, just so you know. Okay, that's really good. I like this book because of the pictures, even though it's not really relevant to the book. I like how they're running away from the forest and the wolves are trying to get them. And there was a bit about the wolves, but they didn't really show the wolves. I also like about the book how it's set out, how it's not like there's so many things that happen in the book, and it's like, I don't know, let's say like it's a big introduction that takes like 40 pages. This one just goes into the book. You get 1 page introduction and it's on. Like, you don't need a full page introduction that doesn't make sense. That's what I like about this book. I also like the characters, how they have different personalities, and it's not kind of the same personalities. One is very, which is Bonnie, she's very adventurous, she takes charge, she's always try her best, and she's like really strong, a goodwill-hearted girl, but also when something goes wrong, she stands for her rights. Sylvia, however, is kind of like the opposite of Bonnie. She's kind, she's good with it, she does what she is told, and I feel like that's good. I feel like I'm more of a Bonnie than a Sylvia though, but I think a lot of people have both of them.
Yeah, I think I have both of them too.
Yes. So I also like this book because it gives you more about the author. You can read more about the author at the end of the book. You can look at questions about the book, like to ask, what happened in this time? What happened in these questions? So you can check. You can also check for like who you're most like. Are you most Bonnie, Sylvia? And there's a lot of characters in the book. And I did actually do the quiz and I'm more of Bonnie. So, yes.
Maybe me and you can do the quiz and see if I'm going to be Sylvia or Bonnie on both of them.
Yeah, but we can do that after the book review.
Yeah.
So I also like this book because of the cover, how, as I said about this, I also like the purple part of it, like here, very bold. But I also feel like this is not that flashy like our last week's book, Boy Underwater. Like the words are quite small, and like if you took this book afar, like it's not really, you can see anything.
Yeah, you can't really see the words.
Yeah, it's like
if you put it closer, you can actually see it.
Yeah, so it's like Boy Underwater. It's not really like Boy Underwater. I feel like Boy Underwater is kind of better because it's like you can see the words. It's flashy. You're like, what is this beautiful cover? I really want to discover it. I really want to see it. Whereas this one, yes, it's beautiful, it's good, but I feel like maybe could have had bigger words, and I feel like it could have talked a bit more about wolves. So I'm going to say what I think this book could do better in. I think this book could do better in, as I said, the wolves. I had no idea about the wolves, literally. They were just saying they're scared of the wolves. There was one time wolves pounced in somewhere, but to be honest, I felt like there was literally nothing about anything about wolves. So I feel like that's the one thing I want it to be better. Also, I think that should be better is like the storyline. I feel like it wouldn't have made a difference in some parts, and I feel like they added extra information that didn't need to be there. I think that what's good about the book is the blurb. Now, how I did in Mary Poppins was I talked about the blurb. Now, the blurb is good. I feel like it can still be better. I think using more punctuation in it, like using a bit more different synonyms and describing the characters. I feel like they could work on that. I feel like there should be a bit more about the whole book because they're only talking about like the start of the book. And yes, blurbs are not supposed to give away the whole book, but blurbs are kind of like summaries about what is going to happen. So I feel like it only kind of talks about the first part of the book. It doesn't really talk about all the other ones, and it doesn't talk about like the adventures they took. Like maybe they could have said Bonnie and Sylvia went on an amazing adventure.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yes.
So
yeah.
What I also think that they can work on is that if it's a forest, they can use a bit more colour.
That's a good idea. That's true, Divine. I really like your point. Yes, it's just black and white. I feel like black and white is not flashy, colourful. I don't know, maybe they don't have colour then, but this explains they do have colour. So I feel like maybe you're right, they could have made a better cover. Like, for example, The Secret Garden from Frances Hodgson Burnett. Her one was a novel like this one from the Vintage Classics just as well, and it was so much colour. These books were made quite in kind of the same time, and there was so much green, colourful. It's like you're going in. But this one, I'm not trying to say it's bad, but I feel like the cover could have been more better, and the title could have just been the Willoughby Chase Adventure or the Girls of Willoughby Chase and not the Wolves, because it talks nothing about the wolves. So I feel like it didn't really need anything about the wolves.
And they didn't really need the picture of the wolves too.
Yes, they didn't need the wolves. I feel like that was quite pointless. So yeah, now I'm going to ask Divine some questions. Over to you, Divine.
Who's your favourite character and why?
My favourite character is Bonnie. Yeah, just Bonnie, because there's two main characters, Bonnie and Sylvia. My favourite character is Bonnie because, as I said, she's strong-willed, good-hearted. She stands for what she believes in. When someone says no and she doesn't like that, she's gonna say, yes, I'm doing that, I'm not going to listen to you. She stands up for her loved ones, and I feel like that's really powerful. And I feel like she's kind of like the opposite of Sylvia. It's not saying Sylvia's a bad character. The only thing I'm saying is that I feel like Sylvia, it's not as strong as Bonnie. She would just say yes to everything. If someone said yes, she would say yes. But Bonnie, she takes charge, and I really like that about her.
I knew you were gonna pick Bonnie. I just knew it. How many stars would you give it?
I would give this book 4 stars, and the reason why I would give this book 4 stars is not because of anything really, but because I wouldn't give it that extra star because they didn't talk about the wolves. And I know I keep bringing this up, but if you're going to name a title about wolves, I think there should be wolves inside. There's only like one time about wolves, so I feel like that wasn't really on point. I feel like the blurb could have been better, more punctuation, more description, because in the book there's so many punctuation, description, all those things, but in the blurb is like it's just about, I don't know, and they only talk about the start, which I don't really like that much.
Okay, who would you recommend it for?
I would recommend this book for 9 and over because of how good, powerful, amazing it is, but also because there are some things that I don't think a 9-year-old, like 8-year-olds and under could really, I don't know, understand or something, like how they go to somewhere, it could be a bit too much for them. So I feel like it should be 9 and over.
And also, the book always says 9 and over, so...
Yes, it does say 9 and over, so if you guys can see that.
Hope you can.
Any more questions?
No, thank you.
Okay, that's it from us, the Siblings World. Thank you for watching this video. Please
like, share and subscribe.
And hit the notification bell so you always know when there's a new video. See you next time on the
Siblings World.
Bye!